All right, welcome back. So today we are going to make cinnamon rolls. It's going to be a nice and easy cinnamon roll recipe with pecans on top. So here's a joke for you. I saw a movie the other day. It had Dwayne Johnson eating a cinnamon roll. The movie was called Rock and Roll. Get it? All right, terrible. All right, so let's get rolling. All right, so to start, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a cup of lukewarm milk. It's best if this is at 110 degrees. Once you have that at 110 degrees, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and add our sugar. So this is about a tablespoon of sugar. Just gonna throw that in there. We're gonna mix this up, check our temperature, make sure we're still good. Seeing that's still 110 degrees, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and add our yeast. So here we have about 2.5 teaspoons of yeast. Just gonna throw that in. And then we're just going to tiny whisk this together. So then once you get it mixed up, we're going to set this to the side and we're just going to let the warm milk activate the yeast. This is going to take about 5 to 10 minutes. So while our yeast is activating, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and mix together 4 cups of flour, half a cup of sugar, and half a tablespoon of salt. And we're just going to mix this up. Then once you got that mixed together, what we're going to do is we're going to add 7 tablespoons of butter. This should be room temperature butter or slightly melted in this case. And we're just going to throw that in and then we're just going to mix this together. And then to make sure that the butter is fully incorporated, what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and get in there and kind of knead it into the flour a little bit more. So once you have cracker crumb looking flour, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add 3 eggs, a tablespoon of vanilla extract, and then some lemon zest. So we're just going to peel the outside of this lemon using this grater just to get that lemon zest. So once you have the lemon zest off the lemon, what we're going to do is we're just going to cut the lemon in half, and then we are going to squeeze the lemon juice out. Make sure not to get any of the seeds into the mixture as well. And then we are just going to go ahead and mix this up. So once your dough is halfway mixed up, what we're going to do is we're going to add our yeast mixture. So yeast mixture should look something like this. Should be very foamy. So we're just going to go ahead and add that in. We're going to scrape the insides in, and then we're just going to go ahead and mix this. So once you get a dough that looks something like this, what we're going to do is we're going to take it out, and then we're just going to knead it on the counter for a little bit. To start, what you want to do is you want to lightly dust the counter with some flour, and then you're just going to scrape out the dough onto the counter and just knead it. This will be extremely sticky, but as you keep working it, it will become less and less sticky. And then just continue to add flour as you go, just to keep it from sticking to the counter. All right, so once you get a ball that pulls away from the surface and looks kind of like this, we're just gonna give it a slight poke. If it bounces back, kind of springy like, we know it's good. And if we stretch it, it's gonna stretch a long ways before tearing. So we know that's good. So then we're just gonna throw this thing into an oiled bowl and we're gonna cover it with saran wrap. And then we're just gonna let this rise until it's doubled in size. It'll take about 90 minutes. All right, so while our dough is rising, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and make the filling of the cinnamon roll itself. So here we're going to start with 6 tablespoons of butter. Then we're going to add a cup of brown sugar and about 3 tablespoons of cinnamon. And then we're just going to whisk combine, and there we have our filling mixture. And we're just going to set that to the side. So also we're going to go ahead and make our topping. So we're going to start with 3 cups of pecans. We're going to add about 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. Just going to pour that over, and then we're just going to toss this around just to make sure all the pecans themselves have been coated. And then once they're nice and coated, what we're going to go ahead and do is we are going to add half a cup of brown sugar and a half cup of white sugar. And then we're just going to toss around yet again, just to make sure all the pecans have a nice coating of sugar on them. Almost forgot. And then we want to add about 3 tablespoons of cinnamon as well. If you added it in before, it'll already be mixed in, but in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and mix in that cinnamon. All right, and there we have it. There we have our sugar cinnamon coated pecans. All right, so once your dough has doubled in size, what we're going to do is we're just going to give it a nice good punch. And we're just going to knock the air out of it, and then we're just going to take it out and throw it on a lightly floured surface, and then we're just going to roll this guy out. So once you got this guy about 1/4 inch thick, what we're going to do is we're going to take our mixture from earlier, and then we are just going to pour this out over the cinnamon roll dough. So then once you get it all spread out, what we're going to do is we're just going to start rolling this up. So once we get this all rolled out, what we're going to do is we're going to take our 9x13 pan. We're just going to spray this with some cooking spray and then just disperse it evenly. That way nothing sticks to the pan. And then we're going to take our candied pecans from earlier and we're just going to dump that out all over the bottom. Then once you're happy with how they're distributed, what we're going to do is we're just going to start cutting cinnamon rolls. So we're just going to cut one by one. We're going to make these guys about an inch thick. And then once you get all your cinnamon rolls on top of the pecans, what we're going to do is we're just going to cover this yet again with plastic wrap. And we're going to let these rise for about 30 to 45 minutes, just until they're starting to rise and get a little bit bigger. So once your cinnamon rolls have risen a little bit, as you can see here, what we're going to do is we're just going to throw these into the oven at 375 for about 18 to 20 minutes. So while our cinnamon rolls are cooking, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make the icing. So we're going to start off with 4 ounces of cream cheese, add 3/4 cup of powdered sugar, 3 tablespoons of milk, and about a tablespoon of vanilla extract. And then we are just going to mix this up until it's nice and smooth. Okay, so once your cinnamon rolls have a nice golden brown color on them, they are done. So what we're going to do is we are going to take a cookie sheet and we're just going to put it over the cinnamon rolls, and then we're just going to flip this guy. As soon as this comes out of the oven, you want to do this. We're just going to pick the pan up with a fork and then just kind of lift it off, and there we have it. There are our cinnamon rolls. So next what we're going to do is we're just going to let these cool a little bit, and then we're going to add our icing. All right, so once it's cool for about 5 minutes, we're just going to go ahead and add our icing. So we're just going to kind of spoon this on. All right, so there we have it. There's our cinnamon rolls. So without further ado, let's taste it. Ellie, you want the first bite?
Okay, I taste it.
All right, you ready? Those cinnamon rolls are absolutely delicious. You do get that little hint of that lemon that comes through in the dough, which has a really nice flavor. I mean, the candy pecans on the bottom or the top, essentially. It's absolutely delicious. I don't know, I wouldn't change anything about it.
No, I really like the zest that you put in there. You know, it's like a refreshing burst amongst all the cinnamony goodness. It's really like sweet, but also like light and just really good.
Yeah. So with that being said, if you like this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you can be notified every time we make a new video. And if you happen to try this recipe, let us know what you think in the comments down below. Until next time, we'll see you later.